I died choking on my own blood in a Rikers Island cell. The guards laughing as they accidentally forgot my meds for the third day straight. Betrayed by the family I'd bled for. Framed for embezzlement that was really Grandma's masterpiece of greed. I clawed at the concrete floor with my last breath, whispering curses that echoed into nothingness. But death wasn't the end. It was a goddamn reset button, slamming me back into my 28-year-old body on that rainy October afternoon in 2023. Standing in the back of St. Bartholomew's Episcopal Church, the scent of lilies and lies thick in the air as Grandma's casket gleamed like a polished lie under the stained glass light. The organ droned on, that mournful swell of Amazing Grace that always made me want to puke. I blinked hard, my hands trembling on the edge of a pew, the wool of my black sheath dress itching against skin that felt too tight, too alive. It was her funeral, Eleanor Hargrove, the iron-fisted matriarch of the Hargrove dynasty, the woman who'd built our real estate empire on the bones of broken deals and buried rivals. In my first life, I'd sat through this farce numb, 28 and already hollowed out from years of her manipulations. No one had spoken at the eulogy. Not Uncle Victor, with his slick lawyer smile. Not Aunt Lydia, nursing her third gin and tonic behind a lace hinky. Not even my cousin Trent, the golden boy who'd inherited all. The silence was her final victory, a void that swallowed any chance of truth.
But now?
Now I was Peyton Hargrove, back from the grave, with every filthy secret etched into my soul like a tattoo. My heart hammered as I scanned the room, 50 mourners in tailored black, whispering about stock prices and the latest Manhattan scandal, oblivious to the storm I'd unleash. Grandma's casket was open, her powdered face serene, lips painted that signature crimson that hid the venom beneath. I remembered the last time I'd seen her alive, 6 months from now. In this very timeline, she'd pull the pin on the grenade that ended me. A forged ledger, my signature proven by a bribed expert, millions siphoned to offshore accounts pinned on me. The family? They'd testified against me, eyes dry as they watched the judge slam the gavel. For the good of the empire, Victor had whispered in the hallway, clapping my shoulder like we were still blood. I squeezed my eyes shut, the cell's cold seeping back in, the screams of other inmates, the rot of forgotten meals, the way my lungs had burned until blackness took me.
No.
Not again. This time, I'd burn it all down before they could light the match. My fingers itched for the flash drive in my purse, copied from her safe just last week in this reborn life. Evidence. The kind that didn't just whisper, it screamed. Reverend Ellis cleared his throat at the podium, his voice a bland drone about Eleanor's philanthropy and unwavering family devotion. I snorted softly, drawing a glare from Lydia 2 rows up. Philanthropy? The old bat had donated to charities only for tax write-offs. Her devotion, a chokehold that strangled anyone who dared breathe without permission. My parents, God. My parents. The secret she'd buried deepest, the accident on that icy Adirondacks road in '05. Their Mercedes plunging off Black Mountain Road. Official report? Black ice and Dad's reckless speed. Truth? Brake lines cut by her hired hand, because Dad discovered her skimming from the company coffers to fund Victor's gambling debts. I'd been 10, shipped off to boarding school like excess baggage, while she molded me into her perfect little executor until I started asking questions. The Reverend paused, scanning the room with that expectant smile preachers wear like a mask. Does anyone wish to share a memory of Eleanor? Silence. The kind that stretches like taffy. sticky and suffocating. In my first go-round, I'd stayed quiet too, throat tight with grief and fear. But fear was a luxury I no longer had. I stood, the creak of the pew echoing like a gunshot. Heads turned, Victor's jaw tightening, Trent's eyes narrowing like he smelled blood. Lydia's glass tinkled as she set it down too hard. I walked to the podium on legs that felt like they might buckle, but they didn't. The wood was cool under my palms, the microphone humming faintly. Grandma Eleanor, I began, my voice steady, amplified, slicing through the hush like a knife through silk. She taught us all a lot about legacy, about building something unbreakable. Murmurs rippled approval,
Confusion?
I leaned in, letting the words uncoil slow, deliberate. Like the time she built our portfolio on the ruins of the Kensington deal. Remember that, Uncle Vic? The one where she negotiated with old man Kensington until he sold his brownstones for pennies, only for us to flip them and pocket the difference. Victor's face paled a shade, his tie suddenly too tight. Peyton, dear, he stage whispered from a seat. This isn't the time. But I wasn't done.
Oh.
Hell no. I pulled the flash drive from my pocket, holding it up like a talisman. Or, how about the ledgers? The ones showing how she funneled funds to cover your poker losses in Atlantic City, year after year, while the rest of us scraped by on her allowances. Gasps now. Real ones. From the cousins in the back. Trent shot up, his chair scraping. What the fuck?
Pay?
Sit down. The Reverend fluttered, hands waving like he was directing traffic. Miss Hargrove, perhaps we can. No. I cut him off, voice rising, the church's acoustics turning it into thunder. Because if no one else will say it, I will. Grandma wasn't a saint. She was a shark. And she ate her own. I locked eyes with Lydia, who looked like she'd swallowed a lemon whole. Like when she buried the truth about Mom and Dad's crash. Brake lines don't just snap. Aunt LYD. Not when you've got a mechanic on payroll who owes you his green card. Chaos erupted then. A dam breaking. Victor lunged for the podium, but Trent grabbed his arm, hissing something low and furious. Mourners whispered furiously, phones slipping out, texts flying, no doubt to lawyers and PR firms. The Reverend herded me down, but not before I dropped the bomb. Check the drive. It's all there. Every wire transfer, every falsified report. The empire she built? It's a house of cards soaked in blood. I slipped into the vestibule as the shouts peaked, rain pattering against the leaded glass like applause. My pulse thrummed. Alive. Electric. This was just the opening salvo. In my old life, I'd confronted her privately after the funeral, begged for the truth. She'd laughed, called me hysterical, and by morning, the frame job was in motion. Victor drafting the papers, Lydia perjuring like it was small talk, Trent leaking to the tabloids. 6 months to trial, 3 years in hell, then death at 31.
Now?
I'd rewrite the script. Step 1. Expose the rot at her funeral. Plant the seeds of doubt. Step 2. Dig deeper into the Kensington files, the ones Dad had stashed before he died. Step 3. Turn them against each other. Victor's debts were the weak link. He owed the mob-level bookies tens of millions. Lydia's pill habit? A lawsuit waiting to happen if the right doctor talked.
Trent?
The coke-fueled parties with underage models, easy pickings in the Me Too era. I stepped into the downpour outside St. Bart's. The city a gray blur of taxis and umbrellas on Fifth Avenue. My phone buzzed, text from the family group chat exploding. What the hell was that? Peyton.
Call me now.
You're unhinged. I smirked, hailing a cab. Unhinged? Baby. You have no idea. The driver, a grizzled guy with a Yankees cap, eyed me in the rear view. Rough day. Miss. You could say that, I replied, water dripping from my hair. Taking me to Midtown. Hargrove Holdings. Time to raid the archives before they locked me out. As the cab lurched into traffic, horns blaring like the city's own rage, I leaned back, the flash drive heavy in my palm. Revenge wasn't sweet, it was sharp, cold steel. And I was just getting started. Back at the office, the 52nd floor of Hargrove Tower overlooked Central Park like a king surveying his crumbling kingdom. The lobby was a ghost town, interns scattering as I strode in, heels clicking on marble like countdown ticks. Security buzzed me up without question, perks of being the founder's granddaughter. Victor's assistant, poor, overworked Jenna, stammered from behind her desk. Miss Peyton? Mr. Hargrove said. Family emergency. I lied smoothly, flashing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Need the Kensington files. Grandma's orders are. Last wishes. She hesitated, then nodded, tapping away. In this timeline, I still had access.
For now.
The executive archives were a vault of mahogany and leather-bound ledgers, climate-controlled to preserve the paper trail of our sins. I locked the door behind me, heart pounding as I booted up the ancient server. Grandma's paranoia meant digital backups were minimal, but I'd cracked the password in my first life during a late-night audit. Fingers flying. I downloaded everything. Emails from 2004 showing Victor's begging pleas for cash infusions. Lydia's signed affidavits swearing Dad was suicidal, a lie so bold it still made my stomach turn. The mechanic's invoice for brake adjustments paid in cash from Eleanor's personal account.
2 hours in.
My eyes burned, but I hit gold, a subfolder labeled PH Contingency.
Payhat?
Peyton Hargrove. My name. Inside. Drafts of the embezzlement scheme, my signature forged in Photoshop layers. Timestamps backdated to before I'd even joined the firm. And a memo from Grandma herself. If she pushes, activate Plan B. Victor handles legal. Lydia sways the board. Trent discredits publicly. She's family, but the empire comes first. Balrose. Hot and acidic. The bitch had planned my downfall years in advance, just in case I ever connected the dots on Mom and Dad. I copied it all to a burner drive, then wiped my tracks, basic IT hacks I'd picked up in prison, trading cigarettes for lessons from the cell block nerd. As I slipped out, Jenna was on the phone. Voice low. Yes. Sir. She's here.
No.
I didn't stop her. Victor. Of course. Time to accelerate. I texted Trent from a spoof number. Heard about the Soho party last month.
That model's dad is a DA.
Careful.
'Cause.
No response. But I knew it'd worm in. Then Lydia, an anonymous email with a photo I'd found, her snorting lines off a conference table. Time-stamped during a board meeting. Family sticks together, right? Unless the Times gets this. By evening, the group chat was a war zone. Victor demanding a summit at the penthouse. Lydia slurring voice notes about betrayal and therapy. Trent radio silent, probably lawyering up. I poured a scotch in my cramped Brooklyn walk-up, worlds away from the family pile on the Upper East Side, and toasted the mirror. To second chances. You magnificent bitch. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of the cell morphing into Grandma's laugh, echoing off cell bars. Morning brought the summons. A Blacktown car idling outside my building at 7 a.m. Driver stone-faced. Mr. Hargrove insists. I slid in, the leather creaking like old bones. The penthouse was a fortress of glass and steel. Hudson River views, mocking the storm clouds rolling in. Victor waited in the study, flanked by two suits, his shark attorneys, faces like animated granite. Peyton, he started,
Oyuncular çağırım.
pouring coffee from a silver service. That stunt yesterday? Unforgivable. But family's family. Let's talk this out. I perched on the edge of a wingback, legs crossed, skirt riding up just enough to unsettle.
Talk.
Like you talked at my trial? Or when you perjured yourself to save your own ass? His smile cracked. Trial? What? Cut the shit.
Vic.
I know. All of it. I tossed the burner drive onto the desk. It skittered like a die. Plug it in. Or are you scared of your own reflection? The attorneys shifted, one murmuring about defamation suits. Victor waved them off, plugging in with hands that shook just a hair. The screen flickered to life, emails, ledgers, the forged sig. His face drained to ashen. Where did you? This is impossible. Eleanor destroyed these. Destroyed?
Nah.
She was sloppy. Or maybe she wanted me to find them someday.
Lie.
But it landed. He slumped, rubbing temples.
Pay.
Listen. It was her idea. The crash. The frame. All to protect the legacy. I had no choice. Debt's up to here. He gestured to his throat. The bookies. They'd kill me. Poor you, I drawled, venom sweet on my tongue. And Mom, Dad, their choice. Eleanor said they were weak, dragging us down with their ethics. He spat the word like it burned.
But you. We can fix this.
I'll cut you in. 20% of the firm. No cops. No press. Just us. Temptation flickered, easy money. The life I'd clawed for before it all went to hell.
But I saw the cell again.
The guard's boots. 20?
Cute.
How about I take it all? Or I walk out and leak this to the DA by lunch. You little, he lunged. But I was faster, snatching a letter opener from the desk, brandishing it like a stiletto. The attorneys froze. Touch me, and it's attempted murder on top of everything else. Your call.
Stalemate.
Victor sank back, defeated. What do you want? Confession. On video. Admit it all, the crash, the frame, Grandma's orders. Then resign from the board. Lydia and Trent too. Or their dirt goes public. He laughed.
Bitter.
Blackmail? You're just like her. Worse, I whispered, hitting record on my phone. Play. He spilled it all. Voice cracking on Dad's name. Tears streaking his Gucci tie. 40 minutes later, I had gold. Send the resignations by end of day.
Oh.
And Vic? Therapy. Real shit. Not the society shrink who prescribes Xanax. Out on the street, the city pulsed, vendors hawking pretzels, joggers dodging puddles. I felt
light.
Unburdened. But revenge is a drug. One hit begs for more. Next target, Lydia. Her summit was at noon, a boozy brunch at Le Bernardin. I arrived early, slipping the waiter 100 for the seat next to hers. She was already 3 mimosas in, eyes red-rimmed, that pearl necklace choking her like guilt. "Peyton, you treacherous cow," she hissed as I sat, but her hand shook pouring the orange juice. "What do you want? Money? The beach house? Truth? LYD. About the crash. You signed the suicide note forgery." Said Dad was depressed. "Why?" She glanced around, voice dropping. "Eleanor made me. Said if I didn't, she'd expose my indiscretions. The pills, the affairs. With board members. Clients." A sob escaped, muffled by napkin. I was scared. "Pay." "Young. Stupid. You're still stupid." I slid my phone across. The video queued but not playing. "Confess. On record. Then check into rehab. Publicly. Or this goes to your husband, the kids, the Post." Her eyes widened, manic. "You wouldn't test me." She did, lunging for the phone, claws out, pearls snapping like gunfire. We grappled, mimosa spilling in a sticky arc, drawing stares from the linen-draped elite. "Bitch," she shrieked, nails raking my arm. Blood welled, hot and real, but I twisted free, pinning her wrist. "Confess, or I scream embezzlement right here." Defeated, she whispered it all, her perjury, the bribes to the coroner, how she dosed Dad's scotch that night to calm him before the drive. The video captured every slur, every tear. As security hustled us out, her disheveled, me triumphant, I felt the first crack. Was this justice? Or just trading one monster for another? Trent was last, the coward holing up in his Tribeca loft. I buzzed up uninvited, the doorman waving me through with a nod. Family perks again. He answered shirtless, reeking of weed and regret, eyes bloodshot. "Pay, dude." "What the?" I pushed past, straight to his laptop on the coffee table, surrounded by baggies and empty Red Bulls. "Sit." He did, wary. As I pulled up his browser history, cookies didn't lie. Soho party. Models 19. Trent. Her dad's the Brooklyn DA. Ring any bells? He blanched. "How you hacking me now? What if I had to?" But I don't. "Confess on video. The frame job. Your leaks to page 6 calling me unstable. Then go public with rehab. Clean slate. Fuck you. Pay." He grabbed a bong, lighting up defiantly. "Grandma was right about you. Always the moral high horse. Like you didn't snort lines with me at the Hamptons?" The words hit like a slap. Flashback. Summers ago. Young and desperate for approval. Powder burning my nose. Laughter hollow. Had I been complicit? No. But the doubt wormed in. That was then. This is survival. He laughed, coughing smoke. Survival? You're destroying us. For what? Ghosts. For Mom and Dad. My voice broke, just a hair. For the sister you pretended was crazy. We stared. The loft's exposed brick closing in. Finally, he nodded, defeated. The confession was short, bitter, admitting the smears, the forged emails traced to his IP. As I left, he called after me. "This family's poison. Pay. You'll see." Night fell heavy, the city lights blurring through my tears in the cab home. The videos burned in my cloud, enough to bury them. But the twist gnawed, in the drive's depths. A file I'd skimmed. PH contingency 2. Unopened. Dread pooled. Tomorrow. The board meeting. The real war. Sunrise hit my Brooklyn window, like an accusation, gilding the fire escape in false gold. I hadn't slept, replaying the confessions, the scratches on my arm from Lydia throbbing like a brand. The unopened file haunted me. PH contingency 2. What fresh hell had Grandma scripted for me? Coffee bitter on my tongue. I booted my laptop. VPN routed through some shady server I'd bookmarked in prison days. The download was slow, agonizing, each bar filling like sand in an hourglass. It popped open, not a framed job, but a will. Drafted 2 years back. Notarized in secret. Eleanor Hargrove, leaving the bulk of Hargrove Holdings not to the board or Victor, but to me. Sole heir. With clauses, Peyton to assume CEO upon my death, provided she upholds family unity. Contingency. If evidence of discord arises, assets revert to a revocable trust controlled by Victor, Lydia,
and Trent jointly. Discord.
Like exposing the crash, the embezzlement, my stomach dropped. She'd played me, dangled the crown, then rigged it to slip if I dared claim it. Twist of a knife, a voice note attached, her voice crackling like dry leaves. Peyton, darling, if you're hearing this, you've found the first layer. Good girl. But remember, the empire isn't for the faint. Prove your loyalty, or watch it burn. I made you tough for a reason. Laughter. That cackle I'd hated since childhood.
She'd known I'd dig.
Tested me from the grave. Rage boiled. Pure and clarifying. No more games. The board meeting was at 10. Hargrove Towers conference room, a glass airy where deals were sealed and souls sold. I dressed sharp, tailored pantsuit. Hair in a severe chignon. The flash drive and videos tucked in my briefcase like loaded guns. The elevator ride up was a descent into battle. Mirrors reflecting a woman forged in fire, eyes hard, jaw set. No more the dutiful granddaughter. I was the reckoning. The room hummed with tension as I entered. 15 suits. Silver-haired relics loyal to Grandma's ghost. Victor at the head nursing a scotch despite the hour. Lydia absent, probably detoxing via Martini 4. Trent slouched in the corner, scrolling his phone like a petulant teen. Heads turned, whispers dying. Peyton, Victor said,
Voice oily.
Didn't expect you. After yesterday. Expect the unexpected. Uncle. I took the empty seat at Eleanor's old spot. The leather still warm from memory. Let's dispense with pleasantries. I've got something to share. I plugged in the drive, the projector whirring to life. First, the ledgers, millions vanished. Victor's cigs all over. Gasps rippled. A board member choking on his latte. Victor, old man Hargrove, no relation. Just a namesake drone, leaned forward. Explain. He blustered, red-faced. Fabrications. Peyton's grasping at. Next.
Click.
The crash report. Mechanics invoice glowing. Lydia's affidavit. Her forgery bold as brass. Murmurs turned to outrage. Eleanor knew, someone muttered. Trent bolted up. This is bullshit. She's lying. Am I? I cued his confession. Voice tinny but damning. Yeah. I leaked it. Grandma said to make her look crazy. The room erupted. Phones out. Calls to counsel. Accusations flying like shrapnel. Victor slammed the table. Enough. Peyton, you're disinherited. Security. 2 goons lumbered in. But I was ready, my own call to the lobby guard. A ex-cop I'd slipped a story to about hostile takeover. They hesitated, then flanked Victor instead. Per board charter, I said coolly. Until votes are cast, no one's out. And I've got the votes. Lies. But panic did the work. 3 members, Dad's old allies, nodded grimly. They'd suspected. Chaos reigned. Victor shouting threats. Trent hurling his chair. The projector looping Grandma's voice note like a taunt. In the melee, I slipped to the head, calling order. This ends now. Resignations on the table. Or the videos go viral by noon. DA's office, too. Think headlines. Hargrove heirs in murder cover-up. They buckled. Victor first. Pen scratching like a death rattle. Trent next. Cursing under breath. Lydia's proxy faxed in from rehab, real this time. Her signature shaky. By 1 p.m., the board was mine, interim CEO, with full audit powers. The room emptied to stunned silence. Victor pausing at the door, eyes venomous. You'll regret this.
Pay.
Blood's thicker. Not yours, I shot back. Not anymore. Lunch was solitary. A salad at my desk overlooking the park, leaves turning crimson. A metaphor too on the nose. Victory tasted like ash. The will's trap loomed. If they proved discord, it'd all revert. I needed leverage, irrefutable, unbreakable. Digging into the contingency file deeper, I found it, Eleanor's kill switch. A secondary trust. Cayman Islands, holding the real dirt, tapes of her bribing officials. Even a hint at the Kensington suicide, another cover-up. The old man pushed from his penthouse after refusing to sell. To access? A biometric safe in her Park Avenue brownstone. Thumbprint only mine. She'd planned for me to inherit the poison too. The brownstone was a time capsule, Georgian facade hiding rooms of guilt and grudge. The doorman, Hector, nodded me in with sad eyes. He'd liked Dad. Miss Peyton. Been too long. Upstairs. The air was stale. Lavender and regret. Her study, desk cluttered with crystal decanters. Walls lined with photos, us at galas. Smiles plastic. The safe squatted behind a false panel, clicking open to my touch. Inside, a single USB, labeled for Peyton, when you're ready. I plugged it into her ancient desktop. Breath held. Videos first, grainy footage of the crash site. Tow truck hauling the twisted Mercedes. But zoomed on the undercarriage, sawed brakes.
Clear as day.
Then audio. Grandma on a burner phone. Voice clipped. Handle it. Mechanic gets double, if clean. Her counterpart? A gravelly reply. Done. Mrs.
Ash.
But the girl's father, he's asking questions.
Click. Dad.
Deeper. Transcripts of Victor's deals with Russian oligarchs. Money laundering through our luxury flips. Lydia's affair with a family accountant, leading to cooked books. Trent's assaults, hushed with NDAs and payoffs. And the kicker, a diary scan. Her spidery script, Peyton suspects. She's sharp, like her father. If she pushes, frame her. Better a scapegoat than scandal. I did it for them all, taught them to survive. Tears came then, hot and unbidden. Not for her, for the girl I'd been, blind and begging for scraps. I copied it all, then torched the originals in the fireplace, flames devouring the past. As ash curled up the flue, my phone rang, unknown number. Miss Hargrove, this is Detective Ruiz, NYPD. Got a tip about your parents' crash. Can we meet? My blood iced.
Tip?
From whom? Victor's counterplay?
Or?
I glanced at the diary's last page. Unburned. If she finds this, tell her the truth. The empire was never hers. It was revenge for her grandfather's betrayal. He left me nothing.
Now.
She pays the cycle.
Grandpa?
The ghost I'd never known. Exiled for infidelity. Cycle. Grandma's revenge on him. Through us. The call, Ruiz's voice urgent, could break it wide. But trust? In this family? Zero. We met at a midtown diner. Grease and pie, the great equalizer. Ruiz was compact. Latina. Badge gleaming under her leather jacket. Anonymous source dropped footage. Break sabotage. Clear tampering. Your grandma's estate lawyer flagged it, said you were asking questions. Lawyer? Mine.
Or?
Show me. She slid a tablet over, the same video, but enhanced, timestamp matching the night. A shadow in overalls. Face blurred. But the van's plates, Hargrove maintenance. We're reopening. Need your statement. I gave it, calm, detailed, weaving in the files without spilling the family war. As she typed, I probed. Source? Protected.
But.
They mentioned a second chance. Her eyes sharpened. You know anything about that?
Chill down my spine.
Second chance. My rebirth. Whispered?
No.
Paranoia. Just glad for justice. Back home. The video's queued for upload, time to drop if anything happened to me. But the cycle gnawed. Was I her? Building on bones. Excuses wrapped in legacy? Sleep evaded again. City sirens wailing like banshees. Dawn brought escalation. Tabloids screaming. Hargrove air war. Incestuous scandal. Leaks from Trent. No doubt. Stock dipped 15%. Board panicking via email. Victor's text told you. Pull back. Or we all sink. I replied. Sink you first. The penthouse truce dinner was his idea, neutral ground. Rouse in the village. Red sauce and vendettas. They arrived en masse. Victor dapper in denial. Lydia gaunt from detox. Trent sullen. Nursing a soda. I sat at the head. Osso buco steaming untouched. To family, Victor toasted. Glass raised like a guillotine. Or what's left. I clinked. Then played the diary audio, Grandma's voice filling the booth. Confessing the sabotage. The frame. Forks clattered. Lydia whimpered.
She.
Planned this. Us. I corrected. All puppets. But I'm cutting strings. Trent sneered. Hero complex much? You're tanking the company. Jobs lost.
Pay.
Real people. Like the Kensington family? Displaced for our legacy? Counter. He flushed.
Silent.
Victor leaned in. Voice low. We can still win. Drop the cops. The leaks. I control the trust.
No.
I slid the will across. Read the fine print. Discord voids it. But if we dissolve quietly, sell assets, pay reparations, clean break. Lydia perked. Reparations? To who? The victims. Crash Victims Fund. Kensington heirs. Even your pill victims. LYD settlements. Insane? Controversial as hell. Liquidate the empire. Scatter the fortune to the winds. Board would revolt. But morally?
Clean.
They stared. Calculating. Victor first. Madness. We're Hargroves. Not anymore. The words hung. A gauntlet. Trent cracked. Fuck it. I'm out. Rehab. Then Costa Rica. Lydia nodded.
Teary.
Victor? Stonewall. You'll destroy us. Already did. As we parted, rain slicking the streets, I felt the weight lift, almost. But in the cab, phone buzz, Ruiz. Forensics matched the van to your uncle's garage. He's in custody.
Victor.
The cycle snapped for him.
Me?
I stared at the will, thumb tracing my name. Ready? Hell yes. But Grandma's laugh echoed. The real twist? The anonymous tip was her, posthumous, via timed email to Ruiz. She'd gifted me the kill shot. From beyond. Forgiveness? Or final test? The arrest hit like a freight train. New York Post blaring. Hargrove tycoon busted IN parents' cold case murder plot. Victor's mugshot. That perpetual scowl now etched in infamy. Plastered across my feed as I sipped black coffee in a Duane Reade. Picking up burn cream for Lydia's scratches. Irony's a bitch. Stock cratered another 20%. Analysts crowing about the fall of an empire. Calls flooded. Reporters. Ex-boardies begging for scraps. Even Hector the doorman. Voice thick. Proud of you.
Miss.
Your folks would be.
Would they?
Dad's ethics had gotten him killed. Mom's softness. Buried. I pocketed the tube. Stepping into the bustle of Union Square, farmers' market aromas clashing with exhaust. A street fiddler scraping out something mournful. My phone vibrated, unknown. Heart stuttered. Peyton Hargrove. Miss Hargrove. This is Elena Kensington.
You.
Mention my father in that church speech.
Pause.
Breath shaky. The files, you have them?
Shit.
Collateral. MS.
Kensington.
Yes.
Meat.
Coffee. Neutral spot. We chose a hole in the wall in Chelsea. Exposed brick and overpriced lattes. Elena was mid-40s. Sharp bob and sharper eyes. A litigator's poise hiding grief's edge. Dad jumped.
They said.
But after your eulogy. I sued the Hargroves for records years ago. Stonewalled. I slid a folder across. Enhanced photos of the penthouse ledge. Smudges of prints not his. A wiretap log from Grandma's safe tying Victor to the persuasion. Not suicide.
Push.
Her fingers trembled on the pages. Tears welling but not falling. Why give me this? Risky. Reparations. I leaned in, voice low. I'm dissolving the holdings. Proceeds to a fund, victims like your dad. Crash families, even employee severance. But I need allies. Lawsuits against the estate. Bury Victor deeper. She nodded.
Fierce.
For Dad. And yours. Alliance forged over cooling espressos. Walking out, the city's pulse synced with mine, horns. Laughter. Possibility. But doubt lingered. Was this redemption? Or just laundering my sins? The board convened that afternoon. Virtual circus of panic. Sell-off? Madness. Thundered Reginald Thorpe.
The fossil VP.
We're blue chip. I corrected. Screen glowing with projections. Now we're toxic. Victor's trial tanks us further. Liquidate. Or bankruptcy by Christmas. Votes trickled. 5 for dissolution. 7 against. 3 abstaining.
Stalemate.
Thorpe's abstention was the swing. Old money. Tied to Dad. I called him post-meeting. Voice honeyed. Reg. Remember the '98 audit? The one Grandma buried. Silence. Then. Blackmail. Peyton. Business.
Click.
By evening, the tide turned. 10 yes. Thorpe's flip sealed it. For the old man's sake. Liquidation began at dawn. Auctioneers swarming the tower. Appraisers in the brownstone. I oversaw from a temp office in Soho. A loft with skyline views minus the baggage. Emails pinged, offers on the portfolio. Whispers of buyers from Dubai to Silicon Valley. But the real work? The fund. I wired seed money from my personal stash, what little Grandma hadn't tainted. Chartering it as Hargrove Restitution Trust. First payout. Kensington family. $5 mill. Elena's call. It's enough. Thank you. Nights blurred into strategy sessions with my lone ally. A junior lawyer named Marcus, tall, rumpled, with a Brooklyn accent that cut the corporate crap. You're gutting your inheritance, he said over Thai takeout. Carton steaming between us. Why? Cycle ends with me. But his eyes, dark and searching, stirred something dormant. Flirtation? Or just human contact after years of isolation? In prison, touch was currency. Here, it was risk. Trent checked in sporadic rehab in Malibu. Voice clean but edged.
Heard about Vic.
Fucked up. You coming to the hearing? Wouldn't miss. Family? Fractured but tethering. Lydia's rehab was rougher. Relapse texts at 3 a.m. Pleas for bailouts. I sent funds. No questions. But boundaries. Get clean or cut off. Controversial? Enabling? Or tough love in a loveless clan? The trial loomed. Victor's arraignment a media circus outside 100 Center Street. I slipped in back row. Incognito in shades and scarf. He looked smaller in orange. Pleading not guilty to conspiracy and tampering. Bail denied. His gaze swept the gallery. Landing on me, hatred pure. Unfiltered. You did this, he mouthed. Damn right. Post-hearing, Ruiz cornered me in the hall. Your videos sealed it. But the tipster. Traced to Eleanor's email. Auto-sent on her death. Confirmation. Grandma's ghost. Pulling strings.
Why?
Test, I murmured. For me. Ruiz arched a brow. You believe in that? Ghosts.
Worse.
Legacies. Weeks ground on. Assets trickling in, $200 mil gross. Minus taxes and thorns. The fund grew. Crash scholarships. Kensington Community Center. Even Mechanic's family relocated. Silent. But pushback mounted. Anonymous threats scrawled on my door. Traitor. Blood pays. Victor's bookies? Or holdouts? Marcus and I holed up in the loft. Piecing security cameras. A PI on retainer. One night. Rain lashing windows. He poured wine. Tension crackling. You're carrying it all.
Pay.
Let go. His hand on mine warm. Real. I pulled back.
Can't.
Not yet. Then when, challenge in his eyes. The break came brutal. A board holdout. Thorpe, Surfaced with a countersuit, claiming I forged the will, slandered the dead. Press devoured it. Hargrove heiress, Emil fraud shocker. Stock, wait. No stock. But the fund stalled. Donors fleeing. Marcus Doug. Thorpe bankrolled by Victor's Shell Company. Pre-arrest. Confrontation at his club. Oak-paneled relic on park. He sipped brandy. Smug. Peyton. Slumming. Justice. I toss the shell docs. Dismiss. Or yours goes public. Laundering for Vic's Russians. He blanched. But rallied. You'll lose. Juries love family drama. Or hate it. I leaned in. Drop it. Reg. For Dad's memory. Mention of the old man cracked him. Tears in his scotch. He trusted me. Failed him. Then fix it. Handshake. Suit withdrawn by morning. High on the win. I met Marcus for dinner, real. Camelot at Babbo. Wine flowed. Stories swapped, his public defender grit. My boarding school isolation. Laughter. Genuine. As plates cleared, his knee brushed mine under linen. Second chances, he toasted. To them, heat bloomed. In the cab home, his lips on mine soft, insistent. My place, clothes shedding like old skin, bodies tangling on sheets that smelled of fresh start. Dawn found us spent, his arm heavy across me. Stay, he murmured. For now. Vulnerability scared me. But this, worth the risk. Idol shattered mid-morning. Trent's call. Frantic. Pay. It's Lydia. Overdose. Hospital. Mercy General's ER was fluorescent hell. Beeps. Bleach. Regret. Lydia pale on the gurney. Tube snaking. Doctor murmuring pills and booze. Trent paced. Hollow-eyed. She left a note. Blaming us. The family. I took her hand. Cold. Fight. LYD. She stirred. Eyes fluttering. Pay. Sorry. For everything. Forgiven. But as she slept, the note burned. Can't break the cycle. Eleanor's ghost wins. Ruiz updated. Victor flipping. Plea deal for lesser charges. Naming Grandma as mastermind. Tapes corroborated. Case closed. But scars? Eternal. The fund's launch gala was understated. Loft in Williamsburg. Donors mingling with victims' kin. Elena spoke. Voice steady. Healing starts here. Applause thundered. Marcus squeezed my hand backstage. You did this. We. But as flashbulbs popped, a shadow in the crowd, familiar scowl. Victor. Out on technicality. Bail posted by ghosts knew who. Threat real. Cycle unbroken? The gala's afterglow faded fast. Victor's face in the crowd, a venom dart to my buzz. He vanished into the night, but his message lingered. A burner text at 2 a.m. You think it's over? Check the final contingency. Attached, a scan. Yellowed, Grandpa's will. 1970s script. To Eleanor, nothing. For infidelity. Disinheritance complete. Notes in her margin. He started it. I finish for Peyton. The last pure Hargrove. Pure? Her delusion. But the cycle. Grandpa betrays Grandma. She builds empire on revenge. Kills threats including my parents. Frames me to test loyalty. Now, Victor. Cornered rat. Would finish her script, take me down to reclaim the scraps. Marcus stirred beside me. Oblivious. Trouble sleeping? Always. I kissed his shoulder. Slipping out to the fire escape. City sprawl, a glittering trap. Dialed the PI. Tail on Victor. Full spectrum. Costly, but necessary. Dawn broke bloody, headlines shifting. Hargrove bail bombshell. Uncle freed. Vows counteroffensive. His lawyer. A Fox News fixture. Spinning innocent man. Witch hunt. Board remnants called emergency. Dissolution paused. Injunction from Victor's camp. He's claiming executor rights. Thorpe bleated via Zoom. Says you manipulated the vote. Bastard. I countered with the plea deal docs, his admissions, but courts crawled. Fund frozen. Elena's center on hold. Donors bailed. Whispers of instability. Marcus in my corner. Sue for defamation. Bleed him. But bleeding meant more war. Controversial call. Meet Victor alone. Neutral. The old Adirondacks cabin. Site of the crash. Winter's bite in November air. He arrived in a rented Escalade. Parka hiding the paunch. Eyes feral. Peyton. Sentimental choice. Symbolic. I stood by the frozen lake. Breath fogging. End it. Drop the suit. Take your cut, 10% of liquidation. Clean. He laughed. Wind whipped.
Generous. But no.
That will? Eleanor's fake out. Real ones in my safe, leaves everything to me. Protect the empire from the weak. You. Liar. Or, doubt flickered. Prove it. Follow.
Inside.
Fire crackling. He cracked a wall safe antique. Like her study. Out. Envelope. Sealed. My hands shook opening it. Her script. Dated post-diagnosis. Victor.
My rock.
If Peyton falters, it's yours. She'll break like her father.
Stab.
But forged? Hologram seal matched.
See?
Blood chooses blood. He poured bourbon. Offering. Join me. Rule together. Temptation. Serpent slick.
Power.
The life denied. But the cells chill. Mom's laugh in memory.
No.
I pocketed the will. This goes to Ruiz. His face twisted, rage. Then cunning. Then you die like them. He lunged. Hands clamping my throat. Firelight dancing madness in his eyes. Struggle, nails and flesh. Knee to groin. But he was heavier. Fueled by hate. Vision spotted. Lake's ice calling. Flash, Grandma's voice. Toughen up. I twisted, grabbing the poker from the hearth, hot end searing my palm. But his scream as it raked his arm was symphony. He staggered, clutching the burn.
Bitch.
Monster. I backed out. Phone dialing 911 mid-dial. Sirens wailed distant. Cops swarming as he fled to the Escalade. Tires spinning gravel. Back in the city. R for my neck. Bruises blooming purple. Marcus furious. Pressed charges. Ruiz nodded, adding assault to his ledger. But the will? Forensics rushed. Ink fresh. Forgery blatant. Victor's last gasp. Trial proper. Federal courthouse. January chill seeping through marble halls. Gallery packed. Elena front row. Trent testifying, clean, contrite. Lydia absent, relapse round 2, but stable. Victor in cuffs, raging at counsel. My testimony, measured. Damning files, videos, the cabin attack. He chose the cycle. I choose end. Jury deliberated 2 days. Deliberate? Or divided? Verdict: guilty. Conspiracy to murder. Fraud. Assault. Sentence: 25 to life. No parole. As hammers fell, his scream, "You'll fall too?"
Peyton.
The Hargroves' curse. Outside. Flashbulbs blinded. Marcus's arm around me. Elena's hug fierce. It's over.
Was it?
Dissolution resumed. Fund at $150 Milnet. Payouts flowed. Scholarships blooming. Centers rising. I stepped down as trustee. Nominating Elena, clean hands. Board dissolved. Tower sold to ethical developers promising affordable units. Spring thawed the Adirondacks. I scattered Mom and Dad's ashes by the lake late, but right. Marcus proposed there. Rings simple silver.
Second chances, he said.
Yes. But the twist lingered. In Victor's cell block effects. A final note, his hand. Grandma was right. You won. But the Empire's ghost? It haunts. Months later. Married in a quiet Brooklyn ceremony. Trent best man. Sober grin. Lydia maid of honor. Necklace swapped for recovery medallion. The fund thrived. My name on plaques, but not egos. Nights. Marcus's breath steady beside me. I dreamed less of cells. More of lakes rippling.
Free.
Yet sometimes. Rain on windows. I heard her cackle. Cycle broken? Or dormant? Legacy isn't buildings or blood, it's choices. Mine. Build up.
Not tear down. For them. For me.
The end?
Happy.
Jagged-edged. American as apple pie with arsenic chaser.